Fear won't get you where you want to go. This is our challenge right now.
A podcast hosted by Joe Detre, Joe on the Mic, Leader Talk, tackles various leadership strategies that cover self-development, self-leadership, including spiritual and physical health of leaders. This podcast will feature guests ranging from military leaders, thought leaders, health and nutrition leaders, spiritual leaders, nonprofit leaders, and many more.
Hey guys, welcome back again on our next episode. And we're talking about facing fear in leadership. And, let us start out on the right foot here and just talk about, if we're a Christian and we believe in God, believe in what He's given us, there's a couple of things that we got to remember about fear. And let's just go right to it. In 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, it says, "For the Spirit of God gave us, does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline." Now, that's a New Living Translation. And I'm going to go to what I like the best, which is the Holman Christian Standard Bible version of that verse. It says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fearfulness, but of one of power, love, and sound judgment." You guys, you've heard me talk about this many, many times before, that if you don't think you're a leader, guess what? If you have influence over one person, you're a leader. So for me, I used to be fearful about leadership and stuff like that and being in a role of leader. But guess what? Get over that fear of being a leader. Because guess what? If you have influence over one person, you are a leader. And you can't avoid it, so embrace it. And I was talking to a gentleman today as we're winding up our Grace Summit, is that, give yourself a little bit of grace in the leadership role, because I've said this many times, you heard it before. A general is a general, regardless if they make mistakes. A dad is a dad, regardless if he makes mistakes. He or she, mom, makes a mistake, you're still called mom. You're still a leader. Give yourself some grace in the process of learning how to be a leader. Because you know what? There was great leaders before you. There's going to be great leaders after you. And guess what? We call them great leaders, but guess what? They made mistakes along the way. So give yourself a break in the process. And this is going to be a short broadcast because we're going to be traveling. And one of those things, I have to give myself a little bit of grace because, in leadership, even in my role as a leader, I make mistakes. But you know what? Even though someone falls 7 times, like it says in the Proverbs, you get back up. We have that grace. And as a leader, give yourself a little bit of a break, because you know what? In leadership, you're going to make a mistake, but give yourself the grace and learn from it. As you guys know, I talk about learning from mistakes. All the great leaders learn from mistakes. The John Maxwells, the Dean Graciosis, the Ed Milletts, they'll tell you, just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you're a failure. As a leader, you only fail if you quit and don't learn from the process and get back up on the saddle again. Because you know what? At the end of the day, God has a purpose for you. God has a direction for your life. And He wants you to keep on moving forward into your purpose, into your leadership role. Because guess what? When you make a mistake and you learn from it, sometimes you got to admit you made a mistake. People will honor you and respect you more in that role. Yeah, and just to be, upfront and authentic, my wife reminded me something about, I made a mistake the other day. On our trip, I made a mistake about not updating my men's group. Every Friday morning, I do a sit rep. Sometimes you got some of y'all know in the military, a sit rep is just a situational report, and you just give a situational report to your commander or your higher echelon to say, hey, this is what our unit's current situation, status, yada yada yada. But my sit reps is I give a little bit of update to the men in my men's group that I have on Facebook about something that I learned that week. Or, something that came up and I say, hey, I'm going to talk about this. It might be something good to pass on to help the men in the group, just get a little glean from something that affected me and I learned from, and it'll help them. Kind of like an iron sharpening iron from Proverbs. But, instead of beating myself up, which I wanted to do initially, it's like, oh man, I totally forgot today was Friday. I thought Friday was going to be the next day, and I was planning for it, but I didn't set it up and remind myself that, hey, 6 o'clock in the morning, give them an update on the Grace Summit that we've been attending and just share some of the knowledge. But I said, look, I forgot, but I'm just going to go on live, share with them what I did learn, because at least I showed up anyway, gave them a little bit of value, gave them a little bit of something that we learned from the Grace Summit. And and it's giving yourself some grace. And I just know that there's leaders out there, they beat themselves up because they didn't make the mark in their own imaginations, in their own mind of where they should be. Instead of saying, look, I'm in the process, I'm learning. Learn from the process of the mistakes. Learn from your good things too. Take good accountability. Take good evaluations of what you learn daily and grow from there. And in those mistakes, God will help you. If you trust in God and believe in God to help you out, He will. Like He told me so many times in my leadership process, you just got to have a little bit of faith. That's all God asks for, faith of the mustard seed. And He will help you in your leadership role. I want to encourage you guys. Anytime you have a leadership failure, it's not the end of the world. It may feel like it. But grow from it, learn from it, talk to other people that have, that are maybe in leadership roles that you might admire. Ask them their opinion, how they overcame some certain things, and I'm pretty sure they'll be happy to give you some tips, tools, how they've overcome certain failures that they've encountered, perceived failures, because remember, we don't fail unless we just totally stop, and that's true failure. If we learn from it and get it back on the saddle again and do something, you're going to be winning. You're going to be learning. You're going to be growing. You're going to be showing people resilience in leadership. And I believe you can. This is why we have the podcast, to encourage leaders, whatever arena that they're in, whatever sector of the market that they're in, to encourage leaders to keep on pursuing your dreams, keep on pursuing your goals, learn from the mistakes. And we've learned a lot from 2020, which you should have. Go back into some of my previous episodes. We talk about evaluations and other leaders that we've interviewed, and they share their ups, downs, sideways, what they learned, their accomplishments. But like I said before, fear won't get you where you want to go. So stop with the fear of failing, learn from it, move forward, and accomplish what you can accomplish. Take one step at a time. So let's recap. Fear won't get you anywhere you want to go. Give yourself some grace in the process. Learn properly. Do a proper evaluation when something doesn't go right. And you will win in the process. You will overcome. People will see that you are more resilient because you took proper action. Learning from others is the key too, and applying it to your situation. And you know what? I'm going to just let you guys know, if you ever have a problem or you need some coaching or you want to just a complimentary 30-minute coaching call with me. You can always go to joedetre.com, sign up for a complimentary 30-minute coaching session. I'll be happy to sit down with you and discuss what it is that you want to accomplish, get you out of that limbo area of not knowing what you want to accomplish, or you have something you need resolution with. I'll be happy to sit down and talk with you about it. So again, joedetre.com. You can go there and sign up for a 30-minute complimentary call. I'll be happy to sit and talk with you. Guys, have a great day. Be blessed. And like I tell the guys in my men's group, have a positive expectation of God's goodness in your life. God bless.